So, today we have with us Tommy Merlin, State Representative, one of the remaining two from the original election just gone before the special elections. How are you doing today, Tommy?
I'm doing all right. How are you?
Yes, not too bad at all. Thank you very much for joining us this evening. Um, we've got a few questions, sort of that we've seen people interested in on places like Yeet, conversations that people have had with us in the street, and so on. And we just want to get a few things tidied up, if that's okay. Sort of get some information out there for the people.
Yeah, no worries.
Brilliant. We'll get underway with these questions. With a new governor, cabinet, and three new state reps, what's happening in the government at the moment, Tommy?
Well, a lot of communication, at least from what I've seen. Members of the cabinet have been more than willing to reach out with any issues that they're having or any legislative requests that they want to see be handled and taken care of. I have very open lines of communication with members of law enforcement command, members of Sam's command. I am able to reach out to the director of public works. There's uh, a lot of command members that I've been able to reach out to and speak with, understand that they can call whenever. And if I'm able to answer, I'll answer. If I'm able to help them, I will help them. Uh, the new governor is doing a, I think, a wonderful job considering the events of the last month. Um, I think she put a great executive together. The lieutenant governor is someone who I think is able to handle the responsibilities that come with it. Um, and the secretary is a person that I believe is fully capable of doing his job as well. In regards to the legislation, the legislative body area, there's a lot more communication amongst us. I think that with the special election and the elections of Maxine, Wyatt, and Yuri, they've brought a level of experience that, considering what was going on in July, was needed. Um, I've learned a lot from working with them in regards to better ways to communicate in how to ensure that we are doing that, in fact, communicating and sharing what bills we're working on and stuff. So that way there is no accidental overlap. Um, and I think Jack's done a phenomenal job in and of himself, trying to balance being one of two people who are completely kind of thrown to the wolves. Uh, in regards to ensuring that things stayed running as smoothly as possible until the special election could be uh, held, and we got the results and got the new representative sworn in.
Fantastic. Thank you for that update, Tommy. But I say I remember quite distinctly the sort of raft of resignations and people sort of leaving the boat. Obviously five state reps. People started leaving like mad, really. So I think many of us in the state are quite pleased that yourself and Jack stayed on. Steadied the ship and kept it sort of going in the right direction during that sort of turbulent time. It's glad to see that, you've got a full complement again now. If we go on to another question, if I may, if the state was to give you $1 million and sort of task you with throwing a party or large event, what would you do?
So if I had a budget of $1 million and was told to put together an event, um, I think that event I'd probably put on is a hey, we did it. It'd be something we throw at the end of the term, just before get ready to start elections. We survived a term. Uh, and just throw a massive block party and just be like, "Hey guys, let's come out and celebrate this." Um, Realistically, it's something we shouldn't have to celebrate surviving a term and making it all the way to the end. But after the turbulent nature of this term, as you address the resignations and everything, I think it'd be something the people would probably benefit from as a morale booster. Um, I Ideally, I would much rather spend that money on something that would be like an infrastructure project or something. But if that's what I have to spend the money on as an event, be something to boost the morale of everybody. Don't ask me what type of infrastructure project I'd put the money into. That would be a very long and lengthy discussion with the various department heads to see where we can put that at.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely fine.
Um,
The joy of that question is it's purely hypothetical. Unfortunately, I don't think the state's going to give anybody $1 million to throw an event. Although if they'd like to, I'm sure someone from Eustace News can give them my number,
yeah.
and we'd be more than happy to spend $1 million for the state. Um, Going on to sort of back on track, as it were, as a state rep uh, in your own right, sort of looking at just you as a representative, um, what are you working on at the moment?
Currently, a bill I am working on is an amendment to HR 201, which in and of itself was an amendment to the Constitution, uh, and it hasn't been updated for quite some time. This issue was brought to my attention first by the command team over at San Andreas Fire Rescue. They, after speaking with them, finding out what it was that they needed fixed, I noticed some more errors and inaccuracies within it. It was a list of executive departments. One, it mentioned SAS, the San Andreas Security Services. They no longer exist. And in their stead, we have DOC now, which is not mentioned in this list. So the goal of amending 201 is um, to bring to date that list of executive departments. And that is something that I plan on putting out soon, pending conversations with some other departments to make sure that the final wording on things is taken care of and meets their requirements. With another bill that I am working on currently, and this one is in collaboration with a few departments as well, is a roadside protection act. It is meant to protect first responders who are operating on the side of roadways. The main focus of it is to ensure just an overall safe workplace. One of the most uh, hazardous places, law enforcement professional, a member of rescue services, and even to an extent, our public workers when they are towing cars and stuff is um, people don't take the time to move over. Um, and uh, that simple act of that can avoid uh, uh, serious issues in regards to traffic collisions or accidentally just hitting either an officer, a paramedic, or the public worker who is just towing someone's car. It's also something that's going to benefit members of the state. Is you see a car on the side of the road and you move over, you're not hitting that person if you don't happen to see them just lying on the road working on something, or um, if they're stopped with their hazard on. Now I understand it's going to be a little bit harder to see hazard lights on just regular cars. You don't have the same luxury of having red and blue lights flashing all over the place, or solid red lights flashing all over the place, or the amber lights that public works has. Um, this bill's almost ready to go. It just needs approval from the departments that will be affecting it. Once it's up, I am open to hearing feedback in regards to what members of the public have to say about it. And then, should there be any changes that are required, be it uh, through one of the departments affected by this legislation, I'll make the changes. If the public has um, suggestions, I will look into the feasibility of those suggestions. And if I can, I will amend. If can't, I will explain why I can't. Um,
Well, that sounds fair enough.
but no, that's what I'm working on currently. I know it looks like I haven't done a whole lot, but it takes time to do stuff. It takes time to make sure things are getting handled correctly. Um, the last thing I want to do is put something out and it get torn to shreds
Mm.
because I overlooked something or I didn't take something into account, or I didn't take a certain point of view into account. Something I've said since day one is I don't know what I don't know. Um, the people who know what the various um, departments within the government need are the people who run those departments. So it's my job to fill in those voids
So
and do
there's a lot of collaboration on that side then, which sort of
yes,
adds to the length of time it takes to draft, to prepare, and get a bill from sort of start to completion. In that case, then I guess it'd
yes,
be fair to say.
yes, and um, and then another thing too is as I start working on something and I'm figuring out the best way to make something happen, um, I get approached about something else that either is going to overlap with it or something else entirely on its own thing, and I want to make sure everything is getting the attention that they it deserves. But uh, sometimes something might come up that is gonna be ready a lot sooner than something I might have already been working on a little bit longer than.
Yeah, no, I
And
think
when I
that
do hit,
makes complete sense.
yeah, and when I do hit that snag, I do my best to try to reach out in regards to it, in regards to what is uh causing said delay. And if anybody hears me say this right now and they felt I haven't reached out to them or anything, I'd love to have that conversation with them and and apologize for being the reason that they feel they weren't heard by their representative, because it's my job to be there for my constituents regardless of if you voted for me or not. um, I'm not the state rep of only those who voted for me. I'm the state rep of the state of San Andreas, and I'm one of five, and it's my job to make sure that people feel like they're heard.
Hmm. That's a very good way to look at it. It's quite easy for some representatives, sort of both, uh, it's sort of all levels of government in the state. Um, they get elected and they go, "I'm elected for the people that chose me. If you didn't choose me, it's your own fault." So, it's quite good to hear yourself say that. People who didn't necessarily vote for you, still can feel represented through Tommy Merlin. If I may ask another question. We've had a load of questions come through during the course of this interview from sort of concerned citizens that there may be a conspiracy going on within the government. Maxine Finch, during the state rep debate, sort of, stood up on stage and took her wig off. Quite a lot of us in the state didn't know she was bald and that she wore wigs, but all power to her, and sort of it's very brave to show that up on stage in front of that many people. We've had a similar question about yourself, Tommy. What is underneath your hat? You seem to have your cowboy hat glued to you for the entirety of your, um, term in office, and the people just have to know what on earth is going on underneath that hat.
Underneath my hat is a series of white hairs. Uh, I wear the hat because one, I'm not ashamed of my white hairs. I will take it off from time to time. Um, but um, I wear it because I'm originally from Texas. Um, and it is a way to remind myself of where I came from. Uh, I I'm proud of where I'm from. I'm proud of the people who raised me. Um, and that's why I wear the hat. Um, Another reason, as mentioned, is to hide the white hairs. There's not a whole lot going on underneath it.
There's no like
Beyond that,
hidden. There's no hidden sandwich or last like sort of Indiana Jones lasso or anything underneath there. Then
no, no, no. There's no hidden lasso or
no,
sandwich.
no. This isn't a Ratatouille situation. There's no sort of rat underneath there, sort of pulling the strings and
I
drafting
will
bills
take
or
the
anything.
I will take this hat off right now to prove to you that there is no one. There was no ratatouille pulling the strings. Um, no, I was not ready for that one. That was what is going on underneath the hat. That's
Exactly. So people at San Andreas are clued on. You see, that they got to know the tough questions.
no, no, no. Those are the tough questions. I'm not hiding anything under the hat. It's just
No.
my hair.
No, fantastic. Well, thank you for that, Tommy. As a sort of closing question, do you have? Thank you for obviously joining us this evening. We appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule of dealing with all these different departments and drafting all these bills and trying to get stuff done to make San Andreas a better place for all of us. Do you have a sort of final remark or final point you'd like to make before we wrap this up?
From the moment I got elected, I've had an open door policy. If you see me around, reach out. If you have any thoughts, questions, or concerns about something I'm doing or something I'm not doing, I'm always willing to hear you out. If it's something I can, if it's something I can help with, I will try. If it's something I can't help with, I will let you know. And if regardless of if you see me clocked in as your state representative via FedFinder, or you see me clocked in at one of the many businesses that I work, um, reach out. I'm your representative first. Um, it's probably one of the most important things I can do within the state is represent the people of San Andreas. And um, if you feel I'm failing you, reach out. I am more than happy to take the criticism. Um, if and 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 that's the thing. I can handle constructive criticism and an honest conversation, but don't. And this can be said about anyone in public. This uh, don't just attack a person with with your words and stuff. Be open to that conversation. Don't go into something with your mind made up that this person is this, because that's you're doing yourself a disservice if you go into any situation with your mind made up like that already. Um, be open to the possibility of change. If I am wrong, if you are telling me that I am wrong, I will hear you out, explain my position and why I believe what I believe, and either I'm going to change your mind or you're going to change my mind, or we realize we just can't see eye to eye, but maybe we can meet in the middle. There's middle ground somewhere. And I think that that is something that uh, a lot of us need to remember is there's not a you versus me. It's a we're in this together, and that's what we need to do. Is just remember that.
Well, fantastic. Well, again, thank you very much for being here with us this evening, Tommy. We really do appreciate it. As people heard, any questions, any concerns, any odd questions, although I would add, not about the hats. We know that there's definitely not anything going on underneath there. Reach out to Tommy, and we'll include a contact detail of some form for him at the bottom of the article. But thank you very much, Tommy.